Okay, so let's talk pre-shot routine. Why do we need a pre-shot routine? Well, in my opinion, it's crucial for being able to get you in the right mindset to play the shot that you've decided to play. It can broadly be split into two different stages, a pre-shot routine. You've got the thinking stage and then you've got the execution stage. And they're separated by the physical movement of stepping in to the shot. That's the way I like to create it. But it's important to note that a pre-shot routine can literally be anything, but it has to work for you. That's the main thing. What we're doing with the pre-shot routine is getting ourselves thinking right, but also feeling good in order to get into that shot and have the best chance of executing the best shot we possibly can at that point in time. So much like in the gym maybe, or in life, you might have a song that sort of hypes you up and sort of gets you feeling differently instantly. That's what you want to create from your pre-shot routine. It's very hard to do that to such an extent, but that's the kind of idea behind it and the emotion that you want behind it. So we're not just putting random steps in here. You want everything in your pre-shot routine to have a purpose and to serve a purpose, because we none of us like slow play. So let's talk about the first component then, the thinking component. So this happens before you step into the shot. So how I like to think about the thinking component is firstly analyzing the situation. So I have a look at the way my ball's lying, the external factors which are occurring to the shot that I'm about to play. So I have a look at the lie, I have a look at the grass type, am I in the rough? I have a feel of the wind, chuck some grass in the air, have a look at the trees, have a look at any flags. Do I know what the wind's doing? Okay, cool. After I've analysed that, I can transfer that to a yardage calculation. So what I'll do is I'll grab the distance from to my target, and then I'll use those external factors to adjust the yardage as I go. So let's say I've got a flyer lie out the rough, maybe I want to take 10 yards off the yardage that I'm aiming for, and maybe I want to land it 10 yards shorter than that as well, because I know it's going to bounce and release. So now we're looking at a 20-yard difference. That's potentially 2 clubs worth, and that's without any wind. So let's say we're a little bit into wind and that adds on 5 yards, so we're looking at a 15-yard reduction from the number which is the carry number to the flag. So you can see how things can get a little bit complicated quite quickly, but those are sort of the factors that I look at when I first approach a golf shot. So this is all happening behind the ball, before I've even pulled a club. So I've analysed those factors. Now I want to pull a club, right? So I've calculated what will work best. I pull that club, and this to me really sort of sets things in motion, gets me really deeply thinking about the golf shot. Now what I want to do is I want to practice the type of shot that I want. So I need to visualize exactly what I want, like I was talking about in the last video. It's so important to know what you want from the shot that you're about to play. I visualize it, I stand there and I sort of think about it, I visualize it. Sometimes I get like a clear vision of a pro tracer in my head, other times it's just not there and it's not working, but I really think about what I want the shot to do. Once I've done that, I'll do some practice swings trying to feel that shot, essentially, so my body knows how to react when I step in. So that's kind of the thinking part done, and now it's down to execution. So thinking, and then I'm stepping in, so I step forwards into the actual golf shot. I go around, I take my stance, I set my grip, take my stance, have a look at the target. And this execution part, you got to find what works best for you, because what you want to do is essentially only focus on the thing that you're focusing on. So for me, I like to focus on an external focus, so the target. For other people, I know they like to focus on an internal focus. Perhaps it's like one swing thought for the day that's working for them. And you can sort of blend the two a little bit, but I find it's easier for myself when I'm only thinking about an external focus, exactly what I want to happen. I can kind of go unconscious if I'm playing well. So that execution stage really needs to happen in a quick amount of time, because what you don't want to do is have all this thinking time behind, pass that sort of line of departure, if you will, go into the execution phase, and then suddenly start thinking again, and you're sort of stood there frozen. You need to execute quickly. So Tiger Woods, it's 13 seconds from when he first steps in. He takes his first step, and it's 13 seconds till he hits the shot, like every single time. You can go and watch him on repeat back in his heyday. It's unbelievable. So what that shows is that he's developed a cognitive sort of pattern that means that he's not got any extraneous thoughts in his mind, and he can go in there and execute the shot without thinking, oh, what if I pull hook it or slice it, or oh, there's a hazard over there, or blah blah blah. He's really focused and dialed on what he wants to achieve in a positive way, not thinking negatively, oh, avoid that, avoid this. No, it's positive. It's, I want to do this. This is the shot I want. So the execution phase does need to happen quickly, in my opinion. But again, it's all about finding what works for you. So if you haven't had a pre-shot routine before, I'd say please try it, implement one. And the best way to do that is to write down right now on a pad your pre-shot routine. This doesn't need to be permanent. This can be a temporary one as you sort of figure it all out, but at least come up with something that you think might work for you. So I'll just walk you through mine just because that will give you an example. So for example, I have all that thinking time, and I've talked to you about that analysis of the shot. But once I step forward, the first thing I do before I step forward, and I would recommend implementing this, is to take one full deep breath and release, and then fully release before I step forward. That just gets me really present. And then I wipe my right hand against my right leg, and I step forward. That just keeps me sort of present. I step around to the ball, I take my stance, I take a look at the target, and then I adjust my grip. I take my grip with my right hand onto the club, and then I look at the target. I have a waggle, maybe two waggles, and then I swing, and I just go for it, and I just release it. So that's the kind of thing that's really important, is not getting stuck thinking over the ball, because everything tenses up. And what you want is fluid movement. If you're about to do a box jump, or if you're about to do an explosive movement, you need to be fluid and dynamic with your muscles. You can't go from being really, really tense, thinking, to then executing a smooth, rhythmic, good tempo, fast swing. It doesn't work. So as with any movement, stay dynamic. So you can shuffle your weight back and forth, have a waggle. But I'd recommend just being really granular and writing down exactly what you want. Then go to the range and practice. And this is where it really comes together, is when you implement your pre-shot routine at the range. That's deliberate practice. That's intention that I was talking about in the last video. If you can try and get that pre-shot routine as a neural pathway in your brain and sort of create that channel, what will happen is when you then get to when it really matters in competition, you'll be able to rely on that pre-shot routine to get you into the correct mental space. It cannot just be a physical routine. It needs to get you into the correct mental space to perform well. That's the whole point. If it becomes just a load of physical things that you do and it's rubbish and it doesn't work for you and it feels awkward, change it. It doesn't matter, just change it. The whole point is that you need to find something that works. So there you go. There's some stuff about the pre-shot routine. Hopefully that's useful. I would highly recommend right now writing down at least what you think your pre-shot routine is, and then go and actually practice it on the range. Say it out loud to yourself. Say, okay, now I'm stepping in. Now I'm taking my stance. Now I'm looking at the target. I promise you, These kinds of things will sort of root out the problems in your golf and especially in your pre-shot routine. The thinking time that you have behind the ball doesn't need to be that long either. You know, we're trying to avoid slow play these days, so you can think quite quickly and analyze the shot quite quickly and make a confident decision without having to spend minutes and minutes kind of looking at the golf shot. So I think the whole thing should be able to fit within the required time frame of an R&A or USGA regulation golf shot very easily. So if it gets too long, it actually becomes too analytical and you start to sort of take yourself out of the moment. So one last thing to say about the pre-shot routine is the mental side of it. It needs to create confidence within you that you can execute the shot that you've decided to play. The pre-shot routine gives you that stability of mindset to be able to be confident. So it's a thing that you can control. And on the golf course, often we can't control much. And in a golf round, we can't control much. But your pre-shot routine is your safe space where you have control and you are doing these actions which make you feel confident. So that's really important to get in there. So good luck and let me know how you get on with your pre-shot routine. See you later.